So welcome again. Guys, we're going to talk about the what are we going to talk about? Oh yeah, the internet. Something like IXPs, IXs, what's that? X, I know, I have two, but IX, no, that's a different story. So IX is a neutral colo, so happy and welcome. And we would like to welcome Kyle as well on screen. Hi, Kyle. You good?
Hello, hi everybody.
Okay, so I'll give them all a quick round so they have the possibility to introduce themselves. So Kyle, apologies, but I'm going to start with the ladies. I'm old school, you know. So I'll give the word to the ladies first. So please. That's your microphone.
I have my own microphone, that's handy. My name is Filiz Yılmaz. I'm the Director of Interconnection at Econix. We are part of the business development within EMEA region. Econix is essentially a neutral, carrier neutral, vendor neutral data center provider. But we understand the interconnection and the need for that quite well over this since we started that's in our foundation. And specifically my team looks into this enriching the interconnected ecosystems within our facilities as they turn into hubs, as you know, cloud providers come in, network providers come in. And with that understanding for the interconnection and the focus with that, enriching that ecosystem, we also have digital products next to our traditional cross-connect products as a data center. And among the interconnection services, we run our own IXP brand, Econix IXPs in our facilities, majority of our facilities. Next to our other digital services like private interconnect platforms. So
anything else? Milk, bread, anything you don't do?
There are a few things that we say, like Italian food, we don't have authority there. We leave it to
You heard that, Daniele? You heard that? Okay.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nurani.
Lovely. Hello, everyone. My name is Nurani Nimpuno. I'm the Head of Global Engagement at Links, the London Internet Exchange. So the London Internet Exchange, as you can hear from the name, started in London. It was one of the very first IXPs in Europe. And it has gone on an incredible journey from its start. It was one of those very small internet exchange points at the time when most of the traffic was going to the US. And the Links was an initiative really to keep some of that traffic in Europe. So from having been a very simple IXP, just offering local interconnection, it has now also developed both in terms of what products and services we are offering. And I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about. I think all of us are on that journey or continuing on that journey. But also in terms of where we are, because we know not only in London, we have expanded and built smaller exchange points all over the region and also on some of the other continents. So happy to explore that further.
Thank you and welcome to you too. So let's move back to the continent. So from London to Amsterdam. Wouter, welcome.
Thank you, Eric. My name is Wouter Ensing. I work for the Amsterdam Internet Exchange, similar to Links, one of the first and also largest exchange points in the world. And I look after business development. So a lot of the expansion that we've seen over the last 2 to 3 years internationally, I've been involved with. And let's see where we go.
Okay, thank you so much. Kyle, you're up. Tell us, introduce yourself, please.
Hi. So I'm Kyle Spencer. I'm the Executive Director of the Uganda Internet Exchange Point. We're located in Kampala, and we've recently expanded into Uganda's first carrier-neutral data center, which I think segues nicely into this panel discussion. I'm also the coordinator of the African IXP Association, and as you might imagine, we work to promote the development of the internet and internet exchanges in our region.
Okay, sounds fantastic. Thank you and good having you, Kyle. Thank you so much. Maurizio.
Hello. Yeah, Thank you. My name is Maurizio Goretti. I am the CEO of Namex. Namex is the Rome Internet Exchange Point. We are we started very early also. 1995 was the first bit that started in our exchange point. And yes, based in Rome, we are at home today. Yes, in some way.
Thank you for having us.
Well, thank you for having us. We are member-based, and means that all the members share the same quota of Namex. We are not for profit. We are neutral. Maybe we can talk also about this later. And yeah, as an Italian exchange point, one of our biggest members is Team and Team Sparkles. And yeah, we are not only in Rome. We opened recently a regional exchange point in the south of Italy, in Bari, where a couple of some submarine cable lands, and we have also a point of presence in Tirana in Albania, where we helped the local ISP community to start the first neutral inter-exchange point.
Okay, thank you. Roman, up to you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Roman Zielinski. I'm a head of international development at MSKIX, Moscow Exchange. The same, it's the oldest one in the biggest IX in Russian CIS countries. We started also in 1995. At the moment, it's about 850 unique ASNs at our network. And of course, as usually at the moment, Internet Exchange Point, it's not just only one point. We cover all over the Russia, CIS country, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and we're helping to make forward our experience, for example, in Uzbekistan. And really much appreciate for your invitation. Hope to get interesting conversation.
Thank you so much, and happy to have you. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, and this session is sponsored by Fiber Telecom, so I'm really happy and proud to have Michele here. Michele,
thank you.
Get a minute to introduce yourself and then immediately go into your presentation, because I know it will be interesting. So please.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Michele Cannella. I'm the head of the business development at Fiber Telecom. There is a wholesale network operator which aggregates with an agnostic and neutral approach all the telco infrastructure available in Italy. Today, I will show you a quick outlook at the internet exchange points at network colocation facilities operating in Italy and how.
So who can sing in the day?
Can you hear me now?
Better.
Better. Okay.
It sounds like rain, don't you think? The noise you hear, it sounds like rain, but we're in Roma, so.
It's better now? Yeah. Okay. No more rewind. Today, I will show you a quick outlook at the internet exchange point and network colocation facilities operating in Italy and how they can work combined together with the aim to keeping the local traffic local. Okay. I'll start by showing you where the Italian IXs are located and how they can work. They work to best serve the network operators. Up to date in Italy, there are about 1,400 network providers which operate their own autonomous system. There are 4 national internet exchanges, and there are also DECIX at Palermo and MINAP and Equinix at Milan. And about 100 data center facilities throughout the peninsula, which are more or less carrier neutral. We all know that strong, resilient, and efficient network connections are crucial for carrying out today's online contents, both live streaming and on-demand videos. As traffic continues to rise, IXPs continues to be a vital part of the internet ecosystem. The ISP should connect their network at nearest internet exchange by swapping, routing, and data with other ISPs at local hubs, and should never send local or regional traffic to long-distance network hubs or through a tier 1 provider that isn't well connected to the network ecosystem. The first and the biggest one, the MIX, Milan Internet Exchange, operating from 1996, has been established as a company in the 2000 in Milan. It has 368 members and hit 1.85 terabits of peak traffic. Its peering network spans through the 9 data centers in the Milan metro area, plus 2 remote peering platforms active in Bologna, which is located in the northeast, and Palermo, Sicily, where operates since 2017 within the OpenHubMed, the first local carrier-neutral data center. The second is the NAMEX Consortium, as told just before Maurizio, born in the mid-19th within the University of Rome. Today it counts 205 connected networks and reached 434 gigabits of peak traffic, right? There's also a new one just activated in Bari, which aim to contribute to decreasing the distance between contents and internet users in the region. NAMEX Bari will also have an international role linked to the presence of the submarine cable that connect Bari with other countries in the Mediterranean area, in the Middle East and Asia. In this slide, you will see NAMEX and MIX activated the new POP outside their places of the region. And this is the part of their decentralization process undertaken, driven by to make it easier for the local communities to exchange data at the local level, and by the need to provide to their customers access with the less latency as possible to the contents and the application data. The third one, born in Turin in 2002, is the TOPIX Consortium. It has 128 members and registered the all-time peak traffic of 220 gigabits during the first slowdown in the 2020. TOPIX has a well-distributed network architecture. It delivers its peering services across Piedmont and Aosta Valley. Its main focus is to well serve the Northwest ISPs and regional public administration. The fourth and the last one for the Italian exchange, and the smallest one, is the V6 in the NEP of the Northeast, operating within the University of Padua, where it was born in 2009. It has today 57 connected networks and recently hit 97 gigabits of peak traffic. V6 plays an important role in the quality and resilience of the internet for one of the main industrial areas of the country. So there are also the DECX Palermo, operating within the Sicily hub, where it was born in 2015, as 23 connected networks, and recently hit 97 gigabits of peak traffic. DECX Palermo is located closer to North Africa, the Mediterranean, and the Middle Sea than any other European peering point. It's also connected to all the cable landing stations in Sicily. DECX Palermo is part of the largest neutral interconnection ecosystem. With the Globe Peer service from Palermo, operators can peer remotely with the networks connected at multiple other DECX locations worldwide. Oh, sorry, I forget to go ahead with the slides. Okay. This is the right one. Telegeography notes that international bandwidth in Southern Europe has seen over 30% compound annual growth since 2016, representing an overall increase in transmission capacity to the region of almost 200%. The Mediterranean is a key passageway for the global telecom networks. The majority of submarine cables connecting to Europe's Mediterranean coast converge on southern France in Marseille and Sicily in Palermo. Italy is located at the key intersection point along the global internet highway across the Mediterranean region, connecting the Americas to the west, Africa to the south, and the Middle East and Asia to the east. This table shows the cloud science ranking of the data center ecosystem in the EMEA region. The only one that has presence in Italy, but only in the north of the country, is Equinix, with its 4 data centers in Milan and a newcomer one in Genoa. Interxion, now Digital Realty, has not present yet, as planned to build a new data center in Rome, but the ready to go is delayed quarter by quarter, as this time is expected before the end of 2024, next year after. All the other players are substantially missing from the Italian market. Okay. The data center demands from the enterprises in Italy is primarily addressed by the big telcos, TIM, Fastweb, Vodafone, Wind, and from the new emerging companies, Retelit plus Irideus, and from Aruba. There are also 2 big players in Italy, Data4 and Stack Infrastructure, formerly SuperNAP, that offer facilities suitable for hyperscalers and the global operators, but they are present only in the Milan metro area. One of the bigger players in the Italian data center market is Aruba, that has under construction a new data center in Rome, which completes its offer alongside the historical ones in Arezzo, Tuscany, and Ponte San Pietro, which is located near Bergamo in the greater Milan area. In Rome, there is Interxion that also has under construction a new data center that expected to start activity as before in 2024. The growth in demand from the users requires that networks and content providers must move closer to the network edge to satisfy these rapidly growing needs. As traffic and content inevitably move to and from the south than even ever before, Rome, Bari, and Palermo are compelling network hub places to address this demand and where to build new data center facilities. According to a new report by Markets and Market, the edge data center market is expected to grow by 165% in just 6 years. From its value of today, $7.2 billion, the edge data center market is set to achieve a CAGR of over 20% to reach a value of more than $19 billion by 2026. Okay, experts agree that the data center providers have made significant strides with their sustainability efforts. A necessary power-hungry sector today's data centers are expanding and improving their use of renewable energy, developing innovative approaches to cooling and employing many other efficiency-enhancing methods to meet their green ambition. Like so many other sectors, the data center industry has been suspected of greenwashing, where sustainability promises are simply used as PR tactics to impress customers. Technology innovations and new ways of thinking will further the work that is already being deployed. For example, the ability of data centers provider to harness renewable energy source has been game-changing in the industry's pursuit of a greener future. Finally, let me spend just a minute by talking about fiber telecom, one of the best connected networks in Italy. FT operates a resilient low latency IP network which serves more than 100 AES, announced about 700 IPv4 network prefixes, and as point of presence operating in the more than 30 data centers in Italy. Its network is connected to all the internet exchanges in Italy and in the 4 main network nodes in Europe: London, Frankfurt, Amsterdam, and Paris, also known as FLAP. Right now, FT is connected to more than 30 access in the peering relationship established with more than 4,000 networks worldwide. Fiber Telecom aggregates and connects many fiber optics infrastructure and builds of this its own IP network, which stands out for quality, performance, and resilience. FT network is almost a cross-connect away from any data center of the main metro area in Italy. Thank you.
Grazie Michele, grazie mille. So any questions for Michele? No? You were so clear. Everybody really knows exactly what you mentioned and what you shared with us. Thank you very much, Michele. Thank you so much. Okay. So guys, let's talk. Let's talk. So what do you think about the Italian style? Huh? 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 You like it, right? Okay, guys, let's get a glimpse around the world with the panelists. We have nicely around the table how it's going and what their view is on, let's say, the IX landscape and then the co-location landscape they see from their perspective. So let's start in London. So, what do you think? But what is your how do you see? What's your view on the IX landscape? What's happening? What are the key drivers? What are we facing?
Right, I'm happy to kick it off, and I'm sure that we'll find a lot of similar views on the panel, but maybe some friction as well. So let's see where we go with this. But I really think, for me, having been part of this industry for a while, I can see that there's a change going on, and in the last 10 years, you've seen a complete change in the interconnection landscape. So 10, 15 years ago, IXPs were just really about interconnecting networks. So in order for you to get your Netflix content in your home, your Netflix provider had to interconnect with your cable provider, for example. And exchange points played a critical role in interconnecting all that. But really, exchange points is actually in some ways very simple, but it's really much more about the community and all the value add you get around it. And we see that as the interconnection landscapes has changed, exchange points are changing with it. We can see that there are new players coming on board. So I think 10 years ago, where you had different players at different layers, that is all changing. You have data centers who are fiber providers, you have CDNs who run submarine cables, etc. And I think many of the exchange points that are mature have actually also adopted to this, because they by interconnecting so many players in one place, it is the optimum place actually to provide other services as well. And we can see that there are a lot more enterprise and finance customers coming in. 10 years ago, it's maybe just more traditional networks, and it was the network engineers, the very technical people interconnecting. Now you see businesses who rely on cloud and interconnection who come to an IXP. So for us, that journey has really been about making sure, since they're already at the IXP, making sure that we can create this one-stop shop. We understand that different players have very different needs. If you're a traditional CDN or a network provider, or you're a bank, the needs are very different. So we're not trying to force a one model on everyone, but we're trying to offer interconnectivity options and service options so that any player that comes and interconnects can also use whatever, a plethora of services that we co-locate with us. So I think that enriching of services is really what we're seeing. And I think we've started that journey, but I think it's just the beginning. So
okay,
I'll start with that.
Thank you. Let's stay in Europe. Wouter, what are you doing better than the guys from London? What are you doing different? Just throwing just a nice curveball,
No, we're good friends, and we work together quite a bit. We don't operate in the UK. Links don't operate in the Netherlands, as long as I've not missed any news.
So let's forget about the coffee and the cookies. Let's get in there now.
No, well, there is a change in the market, and it's not just in the IX market, but I guess the whole market is changing, and the technologies that are being used to to connect are changing. If we look 10 years ago, you know, MPLS was the thing, you know, and that is completely, well, I won't say gone, but that landscape has completely changed. IP transit coming on strong, cheap, but at the same time, there's a lot of concerns around privacy and security on those services. And I think that's where, you know, we as an industry come in again. You know, we underpin the foundation of the internet and the interconnection between organizations where we need the networks. But at the end of the day, we need that physical connection where everything comes together. And we've seen a lot of new players come on board, I guess. If we look at different geographies, you could say they're in different stages of maturity. If we look at the US, if we look at Europe, if we look at Africa, if we look at the Middle East or Asia, you know, they're all in different stages. So all the regions are also different. So it's hard to, you know, kind of put one statement on it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, come on.
Well,
Yes, jump in.
Yes,
come on.
because I want, we resonate on that and the change of the market.
Far
and
too much.
Yeah, you want to steer this up, but I think the commonalities noticed here is also very important. And in fact, I want to answer that from our customer experience side of things than instead of us. We are, as a data center, we also attract a lot of enterprises, right? And in the last 10 years that Nurani and Walter mentioned, there has been a huge push towards digitalization for enterprises too. So if you don't have a digital presence now, you don't have a business. That's very well understood. So not only on the network side, but also organizationally, these organizations are forced to create positions like CIOs or chief cloud expert positions and etc. So what we are hearing now is through this journey, they need handholding as enterprises. And that one-stop shop works very well. And in our case, the example there for that kind of platform is Equinix Fabric, which is a private interconnect service, which originally started for the CSPs. You know, you want to be close to the cloud providers, right? But now it's expanding. In our experience, it's not only the, going for the cloud, but also this other network service provider or that other person who can help with my supply chain. I'm talking about coffee companies here, coffee manufacturing.
I like coffee.
Yeah, right, Walmart. So we see these also that kind of transition, and they're coming for, we are helping them as a data center with the digital services side of things. We also help that with that digital transformation journey. And so from the IX side, I think that being so in the core of networks and networks connecting of IX, now there is a recognition that we need to push that towards more on the platform level, where these are connected extra that we can help the enterprises to onboard better, where cost efficiency is some important, sustainability, supply chain can be supported, because sending physical infrastructure now is quite difficult, right? We have chip shortages, etc. So those kind of services, one-stop shop, coupled up with network, virtual network functions are on demand. So there is a huge change on that level too.
So again, from MPLS to SD-WAN, SASE, and NFV. Yeah, exactly. So gentlemen, on my side. So what's your take on it? What's the landscape? What do you see? What are the drivers?
It's our experience is an Italian experience mostly.
That's always the best.
But it's very similar. I mean, first of all, I think our main rule is to be trusted by this community of industry that are the internet service providers. Italy is characterized by the fact that in general, in all industry, we are the country of the medium and small enterprise. This is also true for the internet service providers. So we have this long tail of medium, small internet service provider, apart from the Italian big guys and international guys, well-known guys that day by day work with this local enterprise in every region. Because I don't know, maybe for our culture, most of the thing was based on trust. No, so sometimes enterprises that have to face this problem of digitalization prefer to take their service from a local ISP instead of the big guys. That whole work that also has their big market, maybe in a largest company. So our rule is to try to make to build a bridge between these different worlds, between these enterprises, ISPs, and try to help them, even thanks to the fact that we day by day collaborate also with the colleagues that are here. So we are partnering with M6, we are partnering with the links, and this helps also a lot to us. Our main goal in these days is to connect who has the contents. We are old style school to who has the connection until the last mile. That means customer and enterprise. So that's why we were able in the last year to increase a lot of our number of members because we have to fill that gap here in Italy.
Okay, so again, as well, what I hear is experience and sort of customer experience, but also trust and building bridges and trust. Exactly the thing what Daniele this morning talked us through. So that is really typical for the market. How
Absolutely. I think for us, maybe I can talk even for the others, but be neutral, be trustable, and for the community is, I think, the most important things for us.
Cool. Let's go virtual. Let's go to Kyle. Kyle, what can you tell us? What do you see in Africa? What's going on there? What's happening?
So in our region, I think we've experienced a lot of what the European region has experienced, but in a very condensed period of time. We started the internet exchange in Uganda, for example, in 2001, because until 2009, East Africa didn't have submarine cables. And so we were a bunch of satellite-based islands paying like $4,000 and $5,000 a megabit.
Yeah, you're landlocked, so right in Uganda.
Right, indeed. But even the coastal countries didn't have submarine cables landing until 2009 in East Africa, right? So Africa is kind of late to the game, and so internet exchanges were critical. But now, since 2009, for example, in East Africa, we've seen these islands start to require cross-border interconnection to distribute the capacity inland from the submarine cables, and as that happens, you start to get regional traffic growing. And you can see this on Telegeography's latest intra-Africa maps and the growth there. And as that happens, carrier-neutral data centers have started popping up. And now across Africa, we see an explosion happening with these facilities. And of course, every single carrier-neutral data center wants to have an internet exchange. And now we see the likes of AM6, Lynx, DKIX, and others coming down from Europe to start launching exchanges in our region. So we have London and Kenya now. So a lot's, and that's caused some, it's been a bit disconcerting to some of the incumbents, but in a way it's also a good thing because, we have to style up and innovate and offer new services ourselves. So yeah, there's been a lot happening in our region over the last 10 or so years. Okay, cool.
But let's hope that the content, which is now 99%, which is going out of Africa and then coming back, stays a bit on the continent. That will be probably the next step in the coming years, right?
Well, it's actually better than that right now. If I keep referencing Telegeography, but they've started doing intra-Africa traffic maps, I think since 2016, but you can see the dramatic growth of intra-Africa routes whereby we're sending traffic between countries instead of just going all and back and forth to Europe to go between countries. And that's a result of data centers popping up and content being deployed in region.
Yeah,
it's already happening, but indeed we're looking to increase that and be more, let's say, internet independent.
It will come to the continent. Trust me, it will come. That's why you're there.
Eric,
That's good. All right.
Eric, can I
Yes,
respond
please.
to that?
Please.
Because Kyle makes an interesting remark, it almost feels like, we're the kind of the big internet exchanges that, now jump into Africa and come and take the business. And we've made a very conscious decision as AMSEX to go to Africa, but we also have a very strong vision around working together with the local internet exchanges to aggregate demand and aggregate the content in order to fulfill that kind of distribution function. So, we really want to make an effort, and we're doing this in cooperation. As you mentioned, we are moving into Nigeria, into Lagos with Main One, which is an Equinix company. But the goal is really, and I'd like to reach out to you, Kyle, to work together like we do in Europe between a couple of internet exchanges, to work together with the local ones so that we can strengthen the local ecosystem rather than break it.
And let's not forget knowledge sharing, because I think that's a big thing as well you bring.
Just going to jump in as well, because I think, we like to pretend that we are, there's friction or there's competition, but I think it's actually also one of the things that I particularly enjoy about this part of the industry, that, we all have lots of different hats and different roles, and we actually work together a lot. We work together between the IXPs.
Stop the coffee and cookies.
But, and I think, I'm the chair of the EURIX, the Association for All IXPs, and we actually work together to try to educate these new players that are coming on board, and it's a joint effort. And, Maurizio was also mentioning we work together, and it's not only because, we all like each other, but it's also because we see it's good for the industry, it's good for the market, and we can create synergies, not just where we are, but also on new continents. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
Are you open for that, Kyle?
Yeah, well, so I deliberately used the word incumbent when I described the exchanges that might temporarily feel threatened by this, because there was a time when the actual incumbents were threatened by internet exchanges, but actually once they stopped dragging their feet and the internet exchanges popped up, there was a bigger pie for everybody to eat from. So exactly. I think the same evolution is going to happen here. I think it's just, it's a change in paradigm, and change is hard, and I see it the same way. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So, Roman, I mean, these guys are coming in between.
Okay, very interesting. And of course, so I'm joining to every one of the previous speaker. And, actually, one important thing I would highlight, Feliz already mentioned that they are not only a native data center, but also have become a IX. So who we are now at the moment, we can see, I would say that taking view in the past, we came from just one point when the six people, for example, as MSKIX in 1995 decided to combine the network. It was the 2 ISPs and 3 university. So now at the moment, it's not only IX, it's a huge number of services for the different companies, for the different countries. And at the moment, who the key customer at the moment, for example, MSKIX is, we focus not on the ISPs as usually. We can see the interest in enterprises, and it's really important for us to cover this. We have a good relation partnership, for example, with the DICIX. We much appreciate for this partnership, and we can see they do the same. So we're moving together to each other. Data center to IX become like ISPs, and this is much more important, I think, than geographically, only in geographic deployment. Of course, despite all of the situation, MSKIX still are highly integrated in international telco industry, and I think it's really important to keep connected.
So coming back to the Nurani, you mentioned the one-stop shop, you know, and what you want to do. So, and enterprises we saw already. And everybody nowadays is after the enterprises, right? So, if I may start with you, and maybe we'll do a quick round here. How can you support the enterprises? How can you, let's say, translate, let's say, what kind of services you can bring to them to help to support them, actually make sure you get them on board by the end of the day? So what are you doing for them?
Right. Well, so from our perspective, enterprises actually come to us. So we very early identified that we need to serve them. And really, when it comes to enterprises and exchange points, it's really about taking them on that journey to take control of their entire infrastructure. Because traditionally in the past, enterprises would rely on one upstream provider who would provide them with the connectivity. And now they're realizing that their entire infrastructure should actually be something that they control, both in terms of business decision and technical decisions, but also what Felice was saying, you know, you have your enterprises today are not little offices that sit disconnected and dial in through modem, right? There are cloud services that they're using. There are there's infrastructure that they have, you know, in a distributed fashion. So
okay. So sorry to interrupt you, but in that process of engaging, do they engage more with you guys, or because
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
Do they understand it, or do you need to educate them?
Well, there's both. There's both, and some of them understand some of it. They understand that they want to take control of the infrastructure, and then that's it. So then we need to guide them and explain, okay, so this is where, you know, you can, by controlling the way the traffic flows between you and other parts of the internet, there might be cost savings, there might be better performance, there might be security enhancements, etc. So again, it's about understanding. We always go back to what is the customer needs. And so I think, and I'm not going to take up all of this, but all of the time, but I think, you know, as exchange points, you talked about core, you talked about bridging. I know Wouter likes to talk about that we're the internet plumbers. But I think, you know, we provide the infrastructure. For us, that is incredibly important to provide that interconnectivity infrastructure that others can use. So from our perspective, we need to be a step ahead. We need to be able to provide that before those customers come to us. So I'll just finish with one quick thing, because I saw as I was coming in from the airport, this ad that says, Il futuro è qui. And it actually reminds me of one of my favorite quotes from William Gibson that says, the future is here, it's just not evenly distributed yet. So we are providing that so that the future can come and actually be evenly distributed.
Okay, let's see how the plumber is, the so-called plumber is reacting to what you just said. Wouter.
Well, I can't say I agree because I get a slap on the wrist again. I think looking at the enterprise market, I believe that there is a growing desire to control the network, and my belief is that that's mostly driven by security and privacy concerns. Now,
concerns more, or that's key?
No, I think those concerns grow. I mean, the world is digitalizing. So there's more and more online communication and exchange of data. There is more and more piracy and hacking, etc. So the internet has not necessarily become a safe place over the last 10 years. You could say it's broken. You could say it's perhaps ill. I don't know, but there is, I guess, a big concern when it comes to security, and I think that's the biggest driver for enterprises to try and connect, you know, outside the internet directly with their applications, and that is exactly what internet exchanges can fulfill. However, there is an ISP or a service provider or you know, any kind of provider in between for that connectivity. You know, and they play a role today, and how that role is going to change over time, whether it's going to be integrated into an integrated service with an internet exchange. Yeah, time will tell. We've had some very interesting conversations with customers, but I don't think we as internet exchanges could do it ourselves.
Okay, Roman?
Yes, I would agree. I would agree, but still keep in mind that we are still IX, that's the core. And it become more and more interesting how the profile of the key customer changing. For example, in MSKIX, even enterprise, if they have strong enough guys within a team who are interesting how to make the BGP, how to do it right, we are really trying to help to each customer, to each member, and it's. I think that might be future some kind of changing the profile of the customer, as I said, because we are focused on a digitalization of the economy. That's the way we cannot cancel. And it's important to keep in mind that we should be in a step above, which should try to understand what people will be wanted in the future, and trying to combine it like a one-stop shop, different services. For example, VLAN, if you want to, okay, we have enough facilities within Moscow. If you want to combine your internal network, okay, you want to have DNS, okay. If you want to have security, some kind of DDoS security, that is all what we have via our partners. But still, in my opinion, I would highlight that that's the right way. But we should keep in mind that we're still IX. It's like a core. It's like a. It's very important to keep it.
So
if I can jump.
So before that, so all shoemakers just make the shoes. That's what you're saying, right? Don't try to sell cigarettes and suits, but just stick to the shoes. That's what you're saying. So please, Maurizio.
Yeah, but if you want to talk about the shoes, you have to also talk about different kinds of shoes, which kind of shoes you have to wear, in which occasion, and something like that. This is our rule. I think this is our important rule, maybe unique rule. It's not so frequent that inside an industry you can find somebody that you can trust. Now, the dream of everybody when we are, I don't know, booking a hotel or try to choose a restaurant is to ask to somebody that we can trust. This is exactly our most important rule, let me say, because yes, we are infrastructure. So maybe we are not the most complex industry in the world, but at the same time we have this very special rule to be trustable. We have to be trustable. In fact, that's why I think that most of the exchange point are not for profit. This is an important thing. It means that if you have a profit at the end of the year, you don't share with the owners, but you took that profit inside the company and continue to push to develop your knowledge, your things. You try to understand what's changing in your world. So I think that this is an important rule. We are similar. This is another point, but not equal. That means that if it depending from the country where you are, the things are similar but not are the same. So one of our rule again is to build this bridge, to face the local community of internet service providers and try to help them in trying to understand that if they do something together, this can help them.
Okay, so coming back, are the enterprises like Ram tells us coming to you, or are you more going to them? What's the trend you see?
Well, I think that they are ahead respect to us as Italy. And what happened, what helped us, even in the past, I think also in the future, is that we can, you know, learn from what they did, because it happens a little bit later here. Yeah, they started to come, and what we see is that they speak a little bit different language. When a network manager or a manager came to us, it's not like when you meet an internet service provider, big or small or medium. They speak another language that seems to have another needs, but at the end of the day, this is our rule. We start to talk with them. We try to face their needs and try to explain what they can do for goods if they interconnect to us. Security is, I think, one of the drivers, and that's why they are digitalizing. No, they move to digitalization, and they start and they move from the piece of paper to something to these bits that, you know, has lots of good things, but some other problems.
So they come first and then they say, oops, there was something with security, right? Oops, or not. Anyway, Kyle, we have to move on. From your perspective, do you have the pleasure that the companies are coming towards you, or do you still need to explain to them?
It's mixed. It depends. It depends on the stage of development of the enterprise, right? In our region, we really have to engage and handhold, probably not too dissimilar from Europe. There's a lot of enterprises that run large networks, but they don't have their own autonomous systems. They don't have their own IP space. They don't know how to do multi-homing properly or whatever. And so, you know, we've got to be proactive and go out there and engage. But we also do see some coming to us at the same time. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. But we are also mindful of the fact that this is kind of controversial in our market, in Uganda in particular, because traditionally we're interconnecting internet service providers, and now we're interconnecting our customers' customers, and that can sometimes be contentious in a price-sensitive.
Right, guys. The people down there, they're hinting towards me, Eric, it's time, it's time, it's time. I don't want to stop. Don't want to stop. I just continue, but we'll wrap it up. So if I can ask you, what's your takeaway? Well, what should people look out for? What is there? What can we expect? What's your outlook, your glass bowl?
So, well, among the panelists here, I guess we are one of those organizations that work with, in numbers considered, we work a lot with the enterprises. So they need to come into the board. Like, the future is digitalization. So these networks, while they start very immature, there is a long way for them to mature that growth. We understand that, but as long as you put the customer in the center of business, you will get that demand. That's how we started, and putting them due to these in the future, there will be more security. I definitely agree. Security concerns. There will be sustainability. We need to go green. So physical to digital will be even more amplified, and also cost reduction, because these, again, they are not making their money out of their networks. They have other businesses. So network is the facilitator for them now. And we can introduce that, all these panelists here.
Don't tell me you're going to make a cost center sexy and funky, will you?
Well, that is one of the requirements that we hear a lot. It needs to be cost sensitive.
Make it
for
funky.
Me. Yes. So if you tick those boxes, enterprises are willing to learn, and there is a shift from coming to private network towards the public internet. Then the curve is a little bit slowing down, pushing them up that educational slope. But yeah, the future is virtual and digital. That's my take on.
Nurani?
No, I can only agree, and I think again we see this trend. I think for us, our challenge, but also our opportunity is actually to bring them on that journey, and it's not only about understanding their needs, but understanding their job to be done. So Felice was describing this, that they'd make their businesses elsewhere. So for us, we're not trying to solve all the problems in the market, but we're trying to see, in order for them to do their customer's job to be done, what are the services that we can provide? And for us, it's about that diversity of connectivity, so we can enable that digitalization.
Cool. Wouter? Some famous last words.
Thank you. I guess the thing is, when I look ahead, you know, and specifically towards the enterprises, something's going to happen, and something is going to change, and there will be forces, and it will, you know, we will touch. And I think we should be well aware, you know, of any kind of channel conflicts. You know, we're talking about our customer's customer. Well, oops, you've got to be careful. But things will change, and I'm interested to see how they will change, and you know, how we can cooperate, how we can create a working model, which at the end of the day is good for all of us, because this is not, well, at least for us and for the majority of internet exchanges, not extremely profit driven. You know, this is not about just making money. This is about being relevant. You know, our mission is to build a better society by creating a better internet. So that's what we need to contribute to. So I'm personally always very interested to see how we can form alliances rather than trying to do everything ourselves.
And let's see what's going to happen. Interesting. Roman, just a quick one.
Yeah, you know, very interesting to hear everyone. And in my point of view, there are no some kind of controversial. It's the IX of the dream in future. For me, it's the core. As I said, it's IX. It's like a brilliant, because for example, we have a really brilliant technician team guys, and I know how they are motivated, how they're like when they doing something, for example, deployment of RKPI, for example, that was the tough task, but we did it, yeah, for our customer, even if the customer saying, okay, you did, okay, no, we don't need it at all at the moment, but anyway, we did it for our customer. It's not about money, it's about the customer, but customer in view for not taking money, but taking even emotion. And the other hand, we can develop the one-stop shop for the customer, the other services. And in my point of view, there are any problem to combine it, to push and see what is the result, what is the feedback. That's what I think.
Okay, thank you, Maurizio.
I don't want to be too much polite, but I think that occasion like this one.
Then don't be polite.
No, when occasion like this one is the one where we have to look for, no, to discuss together, to share experience. It is true. We are infrastructure again, but this infrastructure can be used in different ways, can be explained in different way. You can adapt it in some way. It's always infrastructure. We are, somebody say, the airport of the internet, no, something like that. It's this up. So I think that we have to continue to be updated of what's going on and try to change as a consequence.
Okay, thank you. Kyle, you know what's going to happen now, huh? You have the famous last words of this panel. Take it away and tell us what's going to happen.
Well, my key takeaway is that the internet industry is continuing to evolve, right? IXPs are expanding their role in the value chain as well as their global footprint. I think incumbents need to think strategically about how to continue to provide a competitive value proposition, and the new entrants need to be mindful of their impact on the markets they enter. But in the end, I think all this will be for the good of the internet. That's why we're all here, isn't it?
Thank you so much.
One important notice, sorry, I used customer, but that's wrong. Much more important to understand, keep in mind to use the member. For IX, it's our member of our community. That's a very important difference for me too.
Okie dokie. And for this, it's a wrap up. I would first of all like to thank you, the audience, for listening to us. I hope you found it interesting. Don't go anywhere, because in 2 minutes we'll start talking about the data center. So we go a bit more in deep on the data center side of the infrastructure. So thank you very much. I would like to thank Michele dearly. It was an honor having you here, and thank